Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. And basically, this person is asking about previously how have I registered for voting? And I was like, listen, here's the truth, okay? All this kind of stuff is public. The history of anyone's, what party they were a part of, where they registered as a Democrat or a Republican or a Green Party or a Libertarian or whatever. It's all public. But it's also not anything that anyone should give a fuck about. Like, seriously, like, it's no one's business how someone is registered one way or another. In the United States of America, you have the right to be in any party you want. You have a right to vote however you want. Or you have a right to abstain from voting. And that's all within your rights. That's the beauty of the American democratic system, is you can participate or choose not to participate however you want. That's true independence. You're not forced to do it one way or the other. And by the way, whatever your action is or inaction, you don't get judged for it. You don't say, oh, you're my enemy. It's been publicly exposed that you voted for this person and I don't like that person, so now I hate your guts and now we're going to go to war over it. No. That means if you act like that, you've undermined the democratic system that we have in this country. Seriously. So when we're watching a Kamala Harris campaign ad where she has Will Ferrell saying, we're going to hold you personally responsible, Gary, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris and Trump wins, that's literally undemocratic. The whole thing is. Okay? So, FYI, it's none of anyone's real concern or business who I ever voted for, how I was registered, none of it. Just because I have stalkerish losers on the internet, okay, who stalk my every move, who act a certain way, doesn't mean that you have a right to try to, like, pry into my past and shit like that. Have I previously been registered in political parties? Yes. Have I previously voted for things? Yes. Do I vote for things sometimes? Yes. Is it any of your business how I vote or why I vote? No. Now, I have a political show, and I very well may talk about those things on the political show in the future, but it has nothing to do with my podcast or my gaming content or anything. So I don't know why people would be bringing it up. It's none of anyone's business or concern. And again, it doesn't even prove anything. Like, oh, well, Phil isn't currently registered to vote, therefore he can't do a politics show. What the fuck are you talking about? Explain that. Really, connect the dots here for me. So because I haven't voted recently on something here in Washington State, I have no right to ever speak on anything political? Are you slow? Is there anything in there? Hello? McFly? Hello? What are you talking about? What you're saying makes no sense at all. There's no connect. Look, literally, there's no logical connection. That's what morons do. They'll just bring a reference up and be like, okay, so that's why. Wait, logically connect the dots and explain. Right? I've already explained this over when I was over on the Kino Casino show. What really sucks for me is I live in Washington State. Washington State, for those who don't know, Washington State in the United States is one of the top 3 most liberal, left-leaning states in the country. What that means is any single time that there's anything up for a vote or for issue, it always goes blue. It doesn't matter how many people try to rally or vote in any way, it always goes blue, and there's nothing you can do about it. This is a blue state, and it probably will be forever. Maybe in time, if things change enough, then it could turn back a different way. Right now, it's all blue. So literally, there's no reason for me to vote on an issue because it always goes the same way. Like, there was just a governor race. Of course, it went right to the Democratic side. There was no way that a guy who on the other side had any chance to be voted in. We all knew it was going to be the next Democrat was going to be the next governor of the state. It's like that. Okay? Sometimes it hasn't been like that. When I lived in Connecticut, it wasn't always like that. Okay? Then it did. Then it turned that way. It went liberal, actually. When I moved out of there, it went super liberal, too. So, maybe, if I lived in one of these states, these swing states, where it's always kind of back and forth, my vote would actually kind of matter. But sadly, where I live, my vote literally doesn't matter. If I vote blue, I'm just voting another drop in a giant bucket that's already full. If I vote red, it doesn't matter because the blue always wins by a landslide. So it doesn't matter how I vote. Get it? But dumb people would say something incredibly stupid. Like, well, if you never vote, you have no right to talk on politics. Wrong. Maybe the reason I don't vote is because my vote doesn't count, because our political system's fucking busted, right? Right now we have a system where if I vote for president, it doesn't matter. It's overridden by the whole state. Why? Maybe it should be a popular vote presidential election. You ever think of that? Maybe that's something to talk about on a politics show. Maybe the actual common person in America should have their vote counted instead of just thrown away just because of where you live. But what can you do? You know what I'm saying? So I've had enough of people who want to just make shit up and they can get fucked. No, really, they can really get fucked. Like this fucker right here, you get fucked. Who else would like to fuck? Who else wants to get fucked, right? Here's one. Okay, you get fucked. Enjoy. Joel Loft says, sadly not up for fucking right now. All right, good. That's good, though. You don't want to get fucked. That's the whole point. You want to stay away from it. But, you know, you're going to be an idiot and you're going to make up fallacy arguments and illogical arguments, then I'm gonna fuck you. I'm going to throw you right off the string. Fucking people are so dumb. Elixification says, on the flip side of that, someone that votes will know all about politics. I know 20 people that vote. They don't even know what they're voting for. Yeah, exactly. It's a fallacy argument because what it is my detractors at every turn want to say that anything that I do is invalid. Despite the fact that I had 1,000 viewers on my live stream, 2,500 total live viewers during the show pulled in great numbers. People overall were shocked at the quality of the show and actually really liked it, right? They can't admit that. They have to spin it in any way to make sure that, oh, the show was bad. So why was it bad? Oh, because Phil doesn't vote. What does that mean? Nothing. Literally, it means nothing. It's not that I don't vote because I'm lazy. It's not that I don't vote because I hate the political system and I want to leave the country and annex from the country. No, I don't vote because my vote doesn't matter. If I register right now and vote, it doesn't matter either way. I'm going to state that it's insignificant. And I think that's a problem with our system. That it should make it so your vote does fucking count for something. And it doesn't right now where I live. That sucks. I do. In the political system right now, I feel insignificant. Like no matter what I say or do in an election, it doesn't matter. Now that I have a politics show and I actually can speak my mind about political topics, that might change, right? Now I actually may have the ability to talk intelligently about politics to an audience that's willing to listen. And I may actually have some people along for the ride and I might have an impact. My vote had no impact because of the way our system is set up. It's a waste of time. Let's see here. Someone tipped $2 that says, but people have fought and sacrificed for the right to vote. That's correct. That's absolutely correct. Doesn't mean that I have to. It doesn't mean that my vote has any meaning. It doesn't. Like, you guys out there who make up these lofty things, you're so insane. Like, listen. People fought for the right to vote because they needed to overturn injustices. They needed to change the system. They wanted to make it so that things could improve, right? My vote doesn't change that because my vote's insignificant where I live. It sucks. I don't like that way at all. I wish it was, but it just doesn't. You know what I'm saying? At all. So, you know, it is what it is. That's the world I live in. That's the country I live in. And by the way, I'm happy to live in the United States of America. A lot of people sit and bitch all day about this country. What you don't understand is that in a lot of other places, it is so different and you don't have any of the freedoms, values, or things that you get here. You don't get in other places. But what it is people just want to always complain about how much better it could be and never happy, never grateful. It's pretty fucked up how people are, right? For me, I definitely get it. I'm definitely in a good place to be, especially for me, the kind of job I have, the content I make. This is a good place to be. I could literally be in a country right now that because of the stream I'm doing right now, the government could kick down the door, pull me off the stream, and arrest me. They could say, oh, you're not in agreement with how the government's working? Go to the gulags. Thankfully, I don't live in a country like that, and I'm happy for that, you know? I certainly think there's things that could be improved, and that's probably stuff that we will tackle on DS Politics moving forward. But, you know, I'm not dumb like a lot of people who just like to sit around and be so ungrateful about shit. You know what I mean? Okay, thank you, Winston. Winston just became a sub over on Kick. Thank you, Winston, for becoming a sub on Kick. So if you just became a legit sub, meaning you paid for it yourself, you're part of the Founders Club. There's only 40 spots left. I looked last night. We were at 59. So you're number 60. That means that you get a unique badge. Okay? A unique badge on your chat. Go ahead and go into, what do you talk about? The identity area in Kick. There's like an identity portion to show how your name shows up. And in there you should have badges, and you can select founders, and you'll have a number 1 next to your name when you talk in chat now. You'll be the first, one of the first 100. Only 100 people will ever get that. There's only 40 spots left. Excuse me. That's exactly right, Enemy Warlock. Enemy Warlock says, I can understand this argument. If he didn't have a clue, he wouldn't know that his vote doesn't matter, and it always goes one way where he lives. I live in a similar area. I only make sure to show up and vote when there's a chance. In the United States of America, you absolutely have the right to choose. No matter what you're doing, you have the right to choose whether you act or you don't. That's part of the independence we have. That's part of the democratic process. Some people literally never vote because they feel it's like protest. They feel like the candidates aren't good enough to even vote on. And that's valid too. You have the right to choose. That's a good thing, to have that freedom. In some countries, you don't have those freedoms. Get it? There's a difference between, I'm just lazy and I don't want to get involved in the process because I like to sit like a lump in front of my fucking TV or smartphone all day, and I just never want to have any intelligent thought in my head. I just want to coast through fucking life, leeching off others and never being a part of anything positive or productive. That's a little different than, oh, I know how the process works, and I know that sadly my vote has no impact, so I'm not going to waste the time, with that process. It's very different. People don't, well, if people do get that, my detractors won't acknowledge it because they're losers who just want to say everything I do is invalid. That's all it is. Again, the show went well. People liked it. There was good views, good attendance. People are watching the clips. People contributed to the show. They can't wait for next week's show. They're excited for it. But the detractors can't admit that. Oh my God, it was terrible. It was awful. He's misinformed, uninformed, doesn't vote, every piece of shit coming out of their mouth. Every little sour turd because they're seething that I do popular stuff that gets attention and makes money. They're so upset. And by the way, the only reason that they ever get attention or make money is me. If I didn't exist, they wouldn't exist. They're leeches. They know that. They're parasites. And they will die someday. They will die off. But, for now, it is what it is. And, I enjoyed the 2,500 live viewers that I had last night. That was very nice. Okay. Who cares about what RTU says? Someone like RTU is such a fucking clown. Literally everything he's ever done was for attention, for profits. The guy's a joke. The guy's a phony. Everyone knows it. There's no reason to ever bring the fucker up. Literally, there's no reason to ever bring that man up. Winston, you have the right to feel that way, and I respect your opinion. It sounds like you certainly don't live in Washington State. That's the truth. You definitely don't.
I got the drip going. 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 I got the drip going.
It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.